Stevie Ray is a bum who didn't have a tenth as much as the charisma or talent as his brother Booker T. Now can you dig that, sucker? We're here because Stevie Ray of all people has been calling out Stone Cold Steve Austin. The legend Stone Cold Steve Austin, the biggest draw in wrestling history, bar anyone except maybe Hogan, has been called out by the shite member of Harlem Heat, the member that nobody wants to remember. Actually, that's a pretty good slogan. I should catchphrase that. The member that nobody wants to remember. But anyway, let's move on. I digress. Stevie Ray's been coming out. He's been criticising Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's been burying Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he has pretty much said that the whole Austin Booker T feud was a joke. And especially the grocery store fight. Let me tell you something, sucker. That grocery store fight is one of the best segments in WWE history, hands down. Everybody remembers it. When you think of Stone Cold Steve Austin, it's one of the first things that come into your head. And considering how good a career Austin had, that just shows you that the grocery store was mega when that is one of the first things that you associate Stone Cold Steve Austin with. But Stevie Ray came out to say, and he wasn't happy about basically the way his brother was made to look in that whole segment. He came out, and I'll quote what he said. I don't want to get him wrong. I'll quote exactly what he said, and then I'll rip him apart just like he's ripped Stone Cold apart. So Stevie Ray said, and I quote, "Let's go back to my brother. You come in, Stone Cold Steve Austin jumps on him and drop him with the belt, the WCW belt, and everyone thought, this is great, this is how it's going to be. Nah, brother, they're setting you up. It is what it is. They're getting him ready for the Thanksgiving dinner. He doesn't know, but you're the one that's going to get cooked. You come in as the champion, big bad Booker T. His whole career, he's been a big bad guy. Now, all of a sudden, you're in a grocery store running from Steve Austin. Ain't nobody in my family ever ran from a man in his life. Ain't no punk in me. Ain't no bitch in me. There ain't no bitch in none of my brothers or my uncles or nobody. I ain't never ran from one man in my life and never will. Especially some Daisy Duke, bald-headed, bad knee guy that beats up women. You kidding me? You kidding me? I'd slap Steve Austin's teeth out of his mouth. Ain't no punk like that. Don't ever fight a man. Now on TV, I got to run from him. I'm scared of him. Nah, miss me with that. But that's the way they work. And this is what I told everybody what was going to happen, unquote. So let's address this first of all. Stevie Ray says he's never ran away from his fight. His brother has never ran away from a fight. But he seems to forget that pro wrestling, sports entertainment, call it what you will, it is in fact entertainment. It's not actually real. People are playing characters. Now, albeit Booker T's character may have similarities to the Booker T, who Booker T is, it doesn't mean that his character has to be exactly how he would react in real life. That's not how wrestling works. Even when Stone Cold, let's look at examples. Stone Cold Steve Austin, as much as Stevie Ray wants to pretend he's not, Stone Cold Steve Austin, is a pretty mean dude. He's not a guy that would back down for fights. Yet we've seen him play a heel, a cowardly heel who's run away from people, who has, begged people to sign contracts to get out of world title matches. We've seen this. Undertaker, another big guy, locker room leader, takes no shite. We've seen the Taker play a heel, and he's backed down from challenges. He has walked away from people. He has avoided getting in the ring with other participants. Even the Great Khali, when the Great Khali was heel, we've seen Khali back away. This 7'2", 420-pound giant, we've seen him back away from people rather than actually fight them. So for Stevie Ray to somehow think that Booker T, just because he's tough on the outside, should never run away from a fight or should never get beat up, it's ridiculous. It's sort of similar to Kurt Angle when he came in delusional at the start, saying defense he can never lose because he's an Olympic gold medalist. It's absolute nonsense. Stevie Ray, he's just a bitter old man. He was never as good as Booker T. He was never as good in the ring, never as good in the mic, never had the look that Booker T had, never had the charisma, never had had anything. He never had the career. He wasn't given the push. He wasn't in the big matches. He didn't receive the big world individual titles that Booker T had. The only time Stevie Ray was relevant, the only time Stevie Ray was good is when he was tag team champions with his brother. That's it. If there was no Booker T, Stevie Ray would be an absolute nobody, right? Booker T went to the WWE. Booker T had a great career, had a shitload of good moments, became a legend, became a household name, became a star, became a millionaire, became rich. And what did Stevie Ray become? A bitter old man hating on the WWE just because his brother ran away from Steve Austin in a grocery store fight. Well, seriously, man, will you fuck off with that shit? Like, does Stevie Ray think that Booker should never run away or Booker should never lose a fight? Like, what is he going with here? Seriously. Absolute nonsense. It's not like this is real life, guys. It's fake. It's television. It's not fucking real. I mean, come on. I'm sure we've seen some tough guys in real life run away, in movies. So it is what it is. So, Stevie Ray here saying that Austin's a punk, and maybe Austin did beat up his wife, but does that? I don't know if he did. It's it's out there it's up for grabs. I mean, you can debate it if you want. Does that necessarily mean that he's a punk? I mean, no, I don't think so. Definitely not. So again, I don't know where Stevie Ray's going with this. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that Stevie Ray didn't bring up race, because he's an idiot that thinks he's probably been held down because of his skin color. He brings up race quite a lot, to be honest. He brings it up regularly, but Stevie Ray's success has got nothing to do with race. It doesn't matter if Stevie Ray was white or black. The fact is, without Booker T, he was a nobody. So he can run down segments that Booker T was in, he can run down Austin, hate Austin, but the fact is, Austin at that time, arguably ever, but especially at that time, Austin was the biggest star, was the biggest draw, was the biggest money maker, and Booker T would have wanted to work with Austin. I can guarantee, what would you rather, Booker T? If you're Booker T, what's better for your career? Being involved in a feud in segments with Stone Cold Steve Austin, or being like a guy that's, down in the mid-card and maybe competing in heat against fucking other jobbers? It's a no-brainer, right? Booker T benefited from competing against Steve Austin. If you look at it after he had a feud with Steve Austin, he went on to have a great year. He went on to have a WrestleMania match with Edge. Then he got involved in the NWO. Got put into a tag team with Goldust, which was really good. They were a prominent part of Monday Night Raw. And then he went on to get his world title match against Triple H at WrestleMania 19, which he should have won. He didn't. But eventually did go on and have a world title reign on SmackDown, became King Booker, had a great WWE career. But let's be real, that stuff with Austin didn't bury Booker T. If anything, it got Booker T more over, it got Booker T more popular, and it propelled him up the roster, up the card. So Stevie Ray, just a bitter old man, Booker T a legend, Stone Cold's the GOAT, that's pretty much it. Stevie Ray's actually an idiot. He claims he didn't want. He's essentially saying he wouldn't sign with WWE because that's the way they book people. I don't think WWE ever wanted Stevie Ray. So it is what it is. They probably never wanted Stevie Ray. I guarantee you, they look at them and think, we can do so much with Booker T. Why bring Stevie Ray in and then put them in a tag team when you're just wasting Booker's potential? So I can see why they brought in Booker T and why they never signed Stevie Ray. So, Booker T, like I said, legend in wrestling. Stevie Ray, just being a bitter old man talking to Vince Russo on the internet. So, you tell me who had the better career. Who would you rather work with? I mean, what is it better? Is it better to work with Stone Cold Steve Austin, or is it better to bash him online? You tell me what's more profitable. I think you'll find it's the grocery store segment. But anyway, guys, that's it. I wish there was more grocery store segments in wrestling, but that one was iconic, and we'll never remember it. I mean, we'll never forget it, should I say. We'll never forget it. That's it, guys. Till next time. Peace. I tell you one thing we will forget, though, Stevie Ray, because he's a bum.